Hi everybody, welcome to Live Sessions. We have a special live Monday Live today. It's because one of our musicians that comes on quite frequently is having a release. So I told him he could come on and share it with you all because I'm just excited about it. So we have Tobias Randall on today. He hasn't been on in a long time, but I'm so excited because he's awesome and we love him here at this show. He was one of the very first people I interviewed when I first started doing all of this, so I'm excited. It hasn't been since then, but he's been on since then, but it's definitely been a minute. But we will tomorrow have Nick Isham on again, so be sure to check in tomorrow for our normal Tuesday live sessions. He'll be on for a half an hour, so I'm excited about that. He's going to share his new songs he has out this week, so we're excited about that. But, there's Tobias. So. Hi, friend.
Well, hey there. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I am doing quite well.
It has been
Quite
a minute since I've seen you.
certainly. It is, oh man, the amount of time and things that have happened. Oh man, it's
I
been a while.
know. It's been so long. I haven't seen you since your last EP release.
That's true. Summer nights. Wow. That's like probably a good eight months, I think.
Yeah, it was like summer.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's
God,
been a minute.
wild.
How have you
That's crazy.
been?
I've been really good. Um, Lots. I mean, I'm in the process of a job change, so I'm switching jobs from what I was formerly doing. Working on lots of music, working on a lot more collaborations than usual,
Yeah.
working with new artists and um, I just constantly progressing, right?
Yeah.
And that's
You're
what life is.
always evolving.
Yeah, that's, that's the goal. I never want to be stagnant. I want
Yes.
to keep on
Exactly.
going.
Yeah, for sure. Who are some of the people you're going to work with? Can you tell us?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, so someone I'm going to be working with on the next project. I always, as soon as I release a project, there's already a project that I've been working on for
Yeah.
months. So there's a project coming in the far future where um, it's going to feature artist Dash Eight. I think you featured him
Yeah. Ashton.
once.
Yeah.
Yep. So Ashton, we're releasing essentially a duo project together,
What?
where it'll be a collection of songs that we made just us. So
That's
that's
awesome.
exciting. There isn't any names to it, or if there was, I couldn't really say. But on my personal project, that's going to be after Sunset Chasers. It's going to feature artists like Xander Corbett. He's
Yeah.
going to be in it. Um, Mitchell Price. You probably don't know who Mitchell
Never
Price
heard him.
is.
Huh.
Super good pianist, super good songwriter, great understanding of music, and it's been a pleasure working with him.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's a couple people in my life who aren't solidified in the music world at all that are just insanely talented, and I really wanted to give them an opportunity to hop on some tracks so that they could just explore what it would be like to make music because I really
Yeah.
think they could.
Oh, your
So a
sound
lot.
went out. Oh, there you go. You're back. Your sound went
There
out
we
for a second.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
lot.
excited for you. That sounds like so much fun. You're just like moving
Yeah.
and going all the time. I love it so much. And you guys, you just have this, like, whoever you collaborate with, you always just like, it's always awesome. So I'm excited for you.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I'm excited for that Dash 8 one, man. You guys always produce really good music together.
Um, Let me tell. I have not met a producer who I work with so well. In
Yeah,
that, like, traditionally when you're doing a collaboration, there's always a little bit of conflict because
yeah,
each artist has their own style,
right.
as there should be conflict. for some reason, when we're making music together, there's just this sense in which we fully are on the same page nearly every time.
Yeah.
And so what we're able to create is something that is just so beyond both of us,
Yeah.
where it's turned into its own entity, really. It's
Yeah.
not even Tobias and Dash 8 at this point. It's its own thing.
Yeah, right. I have a co-writer that's much like that I co-write with. And I mean, we've written probably 5 songs together now. And it's so awesome that it just like the two of us just meld so perfectly. And I've never experienced that either, where it's like you can just walk in and be like, okay, I understand you, you understand me, and let's make music, you know? It's just crazy when you find that like perfect, I don't know, symbiotic relationship, I guess, you know?
Yep. There's a synergy, a symbiosis. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm so excited for you, Tobias. Really, you just like are always just so amazing in all of your creativity and the things that you come out with. And your albums are always so spectacular that I've experienced and since I've met you. And you know, I was just thinking the other day, you were like the third person I ever interviewed in this whole thing. It's been that
It was
long.
early. Wow. That's
Like,
crazy.
it's that crazy. Yeah. I was like,
That's
man,
crazy.
when was the first time? And I went back and it was like the third person. So I was like, dang, I've known you a long time, it feels like.
No kidding. That's insane. Yeah, I remember. I mean,
Yeah. It's been a year and a half, friend.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That feels like it was at least 3 years ago. Like that,
Yeah.
that feels like way back. I cannot believe that.
I know,
That
it feels so much longer. It really does. But yeah, I just was like, man, you an OG up in here.
no kidding. Yeah. Back
But
on
you
the
have
show.
since then you have evolved so much in that time, friend. Like you've just been so spectacular in being able to just there's no boundary, which is what I love about you. You just do whatever. And music is just kind of like this open road rather than, you know, I'm going to stay in this lane. You just have no lines for you. And it's really awesome because you've been able to produce so much like great music, and it's so rich and awesome.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. That's one of the things I think I try and focus on. I think each project I try and keep um, project meaning record or EP or anything of that nature, but I try and keep kind of a subject matter essence in which I don't want any song to feel out of place. I want it to be a cohesive project, but I never want to be blatantly identifiable. In
Yeah.
that I don't want you to be able to hear a song and say, "Oh, that's Tobias. I know it because he sounds like that."
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, it's just recreating the same thing over and over, which I think, I mean, some of my favorite artists do just that, and I do
Yeah.
really love the consistency of genre. But I think for me, I couldn't dream of making one type of song for the rest of my life. Like I want to experiment with everything.
Yeah. But
Why
that's
not?
also your personality though. You're just kind of not I'm a one type of person. You just like to explore and do everything. And so it just translates really well into your music too.
Yeah, that's really true. It's pretty in line with how I operate regularly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us about your new EP and Sunset
Yeah,
Chasers and you know, the songs on there. Can you go into some of them and maybe which one is your favorite?
for sure. So Sunset Chasers, um, I've been working on it a little over a year.
Oh, okay.
It's long in the making. It's the first project that I've made with the new digital audio workstation. I've been using FL Studio now, and it's the first project I made with it, which opened me up to just a world of difference in terms of just the VSTs I could use. I learned a lot more in terms of just production from Ashton and other musicians in my life, and I really knew inspirations. We'll talk about inspirations for the record. Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Yeah.
That whole record. I think because it's a concept album, I've always loved the idea of songs going into each other, where it's not
Yeah.
like 6, 7, 8 songs, but rather it's one big musical story.
Yeah.
It's not individualistic; it's very cohesive altogether, which is something I haven't tackled in the past. I am very big on making every song unique and stand out.
Yeah.
But this record, I wanted to kind of draw from Pink Floyd in that make songs transition into each other, keep an extremely cohesive record. And the story that ended up kind of coming out as I was writing was two best friends. And they are in their senior year of high school, which isn't ever said in any of the songs, but I think there's a sense in which the story is kind of implicit.
Slide. Yeah.
Two best friends who are really close, I mean, joined at the hip, and they're both really afraid of growing up. And it draws parallels of chasing the sunset as graduation, and they're going out into adulthood, where no matter how long you chase the sunset, eventually it's going to set and it's going to be dark, and you're going to have to face the night. And I think the album is two friends coming to term with the fact that they're gonna be adults. They can't stop it. They have to embrace it. And I think emotionally, it's the most I've ever poured into a record, because I drew a lot of inspiration from my experience coming out of high school, where though I was excited, there's just a sense of fear where you're not sure what's going to happen. You're not sure where you're going.
Which is normal. I mean, everybody feels that. I did too.
Exactly. I think it's part of the human experience, right? And I really wanted to capture that in an album. And sunsets being something of really, I find them very dear. A lot. I don't know if there's many things I find more beautiful than a sunset.
Oh, of course.
Like if you look through my phone gallery, 50% of the photos are just sunsets that I've had the pleasure of witnessing. And a lot of my songs are just literally just inspiration from watching the sunset. And so all of that culminated into a record, Sunset Chasers, which is very short, but it keeps that conceptual idea of songs flowing into each other, and that story of coming into adulthood despite being ready or not. In terms of kind of songs that are dear to me on the record, I think the two, Radio Girl and Friend. Those two songs.
I kind of thought Radio Girl.
Radio Girl, there's always the sense in which the song you're working on is your favorite, but even the song that I'm working on now, I don't like as much as Radio Girl. That song right now is easily my favorite that I've ever worked on.
Yeah.
It captures the full essence of the album. So the guy and the girl, these two best friends, the Sunset Chasers, I had like an image in my head where maybe the guy has a truck, but the stereo's broken, and so the girl brings along a little handheld radio so that they can listen every time they're driving and trying to forget about the real world. That image, and going way too fast on the freeway while the sun is setting, I really translated into how I produced it. And like, I didn't do any kind of noise reduction. All of the takes still have the white noise in the background, because I just wanted it to have a bit more of a intimate feeling that really connect with the listener. But Radio Girl and then the song Friend. Friend it doubles as two meanings in the album. One, it's one of the friends is talking to the other and saying, like, regardless of what's happening, I'm here for you. Like, it doesn't matter how tough the world gets. Like, I'm going to be here for you, and we're going to take on adulthood together as friends. And then two, it doubles as kind of a message for me as an artist to I think my listeners. Most of my listeners are very young, and I think 2020 was a unique year in that young people got robbed of a lot of things. should be part of their experience as humans. And I just wanted to kind of extend a sorry and like I'm here for you, just as a person.
Mm.
Um, I wanted a song that could bring comfort to people who were hurting due to all that they've lost in a really difficult year for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, but those two songs are, I think, the two that really solidify what the album is.
Yeah. Can you describe to me maybe the challenge in making this album versus the previous one?
Yeah, sure. I think as an artist, especially someone in kind of the pop arena, indie pop,
Mm-hmm.
um, very rarely do anything instrumental, especially anything that doesn't have a clear chorus.
Yeah.
I mean, don't bore us. Get to the chorus. It's like the standard pop procedure where you want that chorus to really reel people in, and I think this is an album in which most songs don't have super solidified choruses, and
Yeah.
there's parts in the records that are unafraid to not have any vocals or lyrics. I mean, the the intro is an instrumental. There's no words to begin with because I wanted the music to speak for itself.
Yeah.
Um, and I think one of the difficulties of the album, as opposed to the last one, is though I was setting out to make an indie pop record, um, I also wanted it to take its own form.
Mm.
Like I didn't want it to be restricted. I wanted their story to be clear, and I wanted it to be unique. And so I let the medium of instrumental and kind of unique lyricism just go. It took a lot to do that. There was initially going to be 12 songs on the record.
Wow. Okay.
And those songs are still here, figuring out what to do with them. But as I was listening to the track list, just I wasn't in love,
Mm.
you know, where you're listening and you say, I mean, this is a fine song. I'm satisfied with it. There's nothing wrong with the song, but it doesn't tell their story.
Yeah.
It's afraid to fit into the mold that Sunset Chasers kind of became. And so I stripped it down until the songs that were remaining really, really were sure of who they were. Um, and it was a really difficult process because I think Summer Nights was just a matter of like I wanted music that you didn't have to think about. I
Yeah.
wanted you
I
could just
remember you
blast.
talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a totally different experience in which as I was producing it, I focused a little less on the lyric side of things
Mm-hmm.
and focused a bit more on like, what's going to be a banger. Like, will this song just get people really hype,
Yeah.
or is it going to be? I didn't want it to be emotional speak. I wanted it to be just really easy listening, and
Yeah.
I think this record is like the opposite, where I
Yeah.
wanted the listener very emotionally invested in what's going on, as much as they were listening to the sonic scape that I kind of produced.
Yeah. So, in your production scale of kind of where you've evolved from the very beginning to now, has it just evolved so much that you're able to just really focus on what you want for the music, or are you still? I mean, you're always kind of learning, always, but like, do you think you've gotten enough that it's, you know, uh, more, say, from the beginning to now, like more? I don't know. What am I trying to say?
I think
What's the word?
I
Um,
think I to say is in that like if I have an idea, it's not a matter of me figuring out how to produce it, but
yeah,
rather have the production enough. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, like you said, production is just a journey.
yeah,
Um, Literally, anytime I'm in a studio session with other people, hanging out with Ashton or whatever it is, even just listening to music like on the radio or on Spotify, I learn something new every day. Really doesn't matter. But I am to the point where when I have an idea, I can at least I can get it out
yeah,
and competently.
yeah,
Like the idea of the radio, something you might notice. There's only one song in the record that doesn't have the radio static. and that's Friend at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Every other song has this sample where it's kind of like the radio frequency is coming in super choppy. Every other song has that. And I had an idea, and 2 years ago, I would no idea what I would have done there. But as I was producing it, especially with the song Radio Girl, I had this idea, okay, to keep kind of a cohesive sound, I want to have like radio static throughout the whole record. And I'm competent enough in my producing ability now that that wasn't too difficult. Where once I figured out how to do it initially, it was really simple, and I could do it across all the songs. So I'm at a point in my production where when I do have an idea, I can get it out in some way or another. And then usually as time goes on, that method gets more refined and polished. But
yeah,
it is I'm at a pretty good place, I'd say.
Yeah, it sounds like it, because I remember when we first got together, you were like, I have a lot to learn and I'm still in this process, and like I just need to keep learning and keep going. And I mean, the talk from then to now is totally different. Like you're just so solid and like, I got this, and it's so cool to see that evolution for you, because you're such an awesome like musician and so creative in everything that you do, that I think it's great to see that evolution of who you are as a producer too, and not just a musician, and I think you've always produced your own music though, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only song that is released to the public that I didn't produce, that I was kind of the main vocalist, was Destiny with Dash 8.
Oh,
he did most of the production there, but everything else is I've always seen the idea of being involved in every aspect of the creative process. So even with like album art, I've been involved in one way or another with every piece of album art that has been released with my voice on it. Just because it's important to me to keep my hands, I think, in all of the creative aspects of the record, because I think they're all one. They're not separate. The song is the album art, the album art is the production, and the production is the mastering, and all of it, it's all just one entity. And so yeah, I do like to make sure that I'm involved with the production in most of my music.
That's really awesome. Did you want to share any of the songs today? Did you want to play them?
Don't have an instrument with me. I'm at my parents' house tonight.
Okay.
So I don't have an instrument with me. I could probably run through some lyrics, because I memorized most of the songs, but
yeah, it's okay. We can just have people check you. It'll be enough for everybody to go check you out on Spotify and stuff like that.
You'll get a better performance on Spotify anyway. So
I've seen you live. Be quiet. So I think it's so amazing, and I appreciate you coming on to just share your music with us, and just always willing to just produce such great stuff for us to listen to. And you guys, he's been since the beginning, like you heard. So he's family here at LMS, and please go, if you haven't heard of him, go follow him, go stream his music. I have it all on my iTunes, so y'all should do that too. And I love him. He's one of my favorite people in the world. So just go and support one of my favorite people. Let's say the guy, but then I felt like that was weird.
I don't know.
But thank you for coming on tonight. I'm so
glad you came
on. It's nice to see you after almost a year.
No kidding, right? It's been a crazy year.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Maybe don't be a stranger, okay?
I'd agree with that. Yeah. Let's hang out soon.
Yeah, let's do that. That would be great. Maybe we can come up with a song together. Who knows?
You got it.
We did it once live. We could do it again.
That's true.
We did. I'm just saying.
We could totally do that. And then this time actually bring it to full fruition.
Actually go through with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joined in with us. Thanks, Tobias, for coming on again. Everybody go check out Sunset Chasers. It's out on all platforms. And tell us what your favorite song is if you do. I'm curious to hear. So,
Yes, I'd love to hear it so that I can use it as feedback.
exactly. All right. Well, you guys all have a great night. Bye, Toby.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We'll
Yeah.
talk to you later.